to somebody like Foucault. Response which takes sides of modernity. So you can say that this is sort of conservative response. So they join forces with somebody like Habermas, not because they believe in modernity, but because they think that a thinking like that of Foucault strikes on universalism. And universalism is something shared between modernity and Islam. So based on this shared allegiance to universalism, they join forces with someone like Habermas, not in person, but like you'll see glimpses of this type of thinking in somebody like, for example, Hamza Yusuf and the other some other pseudo universalist from Muslims, among Muslims. Okay, but then there's a large minority of not minority of Muslim who actually are thrilled by Foucauldian critique, because they see it as obviously, which it is, as a critique of modernity and the West and its universalism. So they see it as a sort of a space in which Islam can be, and its practices and its claims can be reasserted. And that's the basic charm for these Muslims of Foucauldian like thinking like Wael Halak, thinking like postmodernism in general. Okay, and now I'll just talk about why both of these Muslim critiques are basically wrong and why they are wrong. Now the problem with Habermasian, even if they might not have read Habermasian modernist conservative Muslim critique of someone like Foucault, and the problem with this is that there can't be alliance with with modernism, even on the basis of some sort of universalism. It's a misguided alliance, because Islamic universalism is not a universalism shared with modernity, but it is a unique universalism, Abrahamic universalism. وَمَنْ يَرْغَبُ عَنْ مِلَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِلَّا مَنْ سَفِهَ نَفْسَهُ. So that سَفِهَ نَفْسَهُ include modernism and universalism of modernism as well. So they already, by joining forces with universalism, they already compromise the uniqueness of Islam, even if for the sake of Islam in their own mind. Obviously, this is very compressed critique, but I would maybe in the coming days I'll elaborate on that. Okay. Now the problem with the so-called leftist, postmodernist Muslims. So these are both camps. I'm assuming that their actual allegiance is basically to Islam. So I'm not talking about those Muslims who have basically left the allegiance to Islam and they are Muslim just because they were born in Muslim families. I'm not talking about those people. I have nothing to do with them. Leftist, postmodernist, Muslim, Foucauldian critique. They are thrilled by the critique of modernity. And they see people like Foucault and Halak as, some sort of their allies against the hegemony of the West and hegemony of modernity. And their problem is that they don't understand that people like Foucault and Wael Halak, their basic allegiance is still to modernity. It's only that they say that modernity is contingent. It can't be justified on the old, So it's there because it is our way of life. We can't defend it universally. So in that sense, it is a retreat. but that retreat is not towards Islam. And we need a critique of modernity, and we can learn from Foucault and Habermas, but you need to develop uniquely Islamic critique of modernity. So when you ally yourself with Foucaldians and Halakians, you already compromise the uniqueness of Islam. So the correct way is to learn from both Foucault and Habermas, but from a distance, and that you can only do if you also, that type of learning from a distance without accepting them can only happen when you first deconstruct Foucault and deconstruct Habermas, lay bare their basic allegiance, and then you can learn from their critique of modernity. Similarly, you can learn from Habermas' justificatory strategies, but this learning can only happen once you develop critique of Habermas first and reject them totally and deconstruct them. After you can learn from Foucault and you can learn from Habermas only after you have totally rejected. Only then you can use those things which you have learned to defend Islam in its own unique manner, by differentiating Islam totally from Foucauldianism as well as from Habermasianism, from modernism as well as postmodernism.